You ever notice how sometimes the most important Pirates conversations happen when we stop talking about last night's game? Good, because today we're zooming out a little bit.
You are Locked On Pirates, your daily Pittsburgh Pirates podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, and welcome back to Locked On Pirates, your daily source for Pirates baseball. I'm Gary Morgan, former editor over at SteelCityPirates.com, and I have been covering this team since 2019. Like all of you, I've lived through enough Pirates seasons to know when something feels real and when it doesn't. This is one of those shows that isn't a nightly journal. We're going to recap some games, obviously. We'll reference matchups. We'll react to moments. But some episodes are meant to be pins in the season, evergreen, quarter pulls, all-star breaks, trade deadlines, things like that. This one, we'll call a 2-week check-in. Where the Pirates are, where the numbers say they are, and whether any of this feels fluky. We're going to do hitting, then pitching, and then we'll get into the league at large. Let's get into it. At the time of this recording, the Pirates are 9-6. Even as Paul Skenes is pitching right now, I'm telling you, they're 9-6. That matters. The context, it matters a little bit more. There are 9 National League teams above 500 right now. And there are 8 in the American League. If the Pirates were in the American League, at least as I'm recording this again, they'd be in sole possession of the best record in the league. In the National League, they're 4th by winning percentage, and this is where it gets interesting. The Padres are 1 team ahead of them, and they beat the Pirates 2 out of 3. The Reds are percentage points behind them. The Pirates beat them 2 out of 3. Tight as it gets. And honestly, very few cupcake teams anywhere. So when you're trying to figure out whether this start is real or fluky, the best place to look to me is the underlying numbers. I mean, let's start with OPS, because this one actually tells a story pretty well, I think. The Pirates are 6th in the National League with a 702 team OPS. Here's who's above them. The Dodgers at 864, the Braves at 791, the Nationals at 770, Brewers, Marlins, and Pirates round out that top 6. And yeah, I didn't stutter. The Washington Nationals being 3rd should make you do a double take. That just proves that OPS doesn't tell the entire story, right? When you actually watch the Nationals, they can hit. Pitching is another story. They might actually be the Bengals of MLB. All offense and no ability to stop anyone. But back to the Pirates. 6th feels exactly right. Clearly improved. They're clearly better than they were last year. Nowhere near elite yet. That's a no fluke vote, I'd say. Let's talk homers. Power was a huge pain point in 2025. Addressed aggressively this winter, even if it hasn't fully shown up yet. Right now, Pirates are tied for 4th in the National League in home runs, 16 homers in 15 games. Not too bad. 6 teams are piled right there together. One good or bad series flips that ranking completely. The Dodgers have 28. They're just lapping people. But within the pack, Pirates are pretty much right where you'd expect. Nationals have 17. That's good for 3rd. Again, it kind of tracks, right? I would say that's another no fluke vote. So let's dig even deeper than that. Because if something is fluky, it stands to reason it's probably going to show up there. You're going to have to dig deeper to figure out what exactly is going on here. Let's do runners in scoring position. Everybody loves that stuff, but we don't necessarily ever suss out the numbers all that often. Here's their team OPS with runners in scoring position. I think I've identified the issue with this offense. I think most of you have too. You just maybe didn't have numbers to put to it. Team OPS with runners in scoring position is 567. That is dead last in the National League. Strikeouts with runners in scoring position, they've had 43 already and only 139 opportunities. That is also dead last. And yes, that's bad. But here's how they're surviving it. Numbers will always guide you through this stuff. You know, these records don't just come to be out of the blue. You don't get to survive just having bad numbers and win most of the time. There's usually something you're doing well within it that points to a different outcome. And this is what I think is happening with the Pirates. 139 runners in scoring position opportunities. That is the sixth most in the league. There's only 9 fewer than the Nationals, who lead the National League. So yes, the outcomes are poor, but the opportunities pile up. You get more opportunities, even with your paltry average, you're still breaking through enough. They're getting on base. They're creating chances. They're just doing just enough with them, which honestly is exactly how this team has felt to watch, right? When your overall offensive numbers and your running and scoring position numbers line up like that, or don't line up, that mismatch might be the fluke, not the record. You know, it seems to me like this is going to even out a little bit. Like the Pirates' overall numbers offensively, they're pretty good. This runners in scoring position thing is a place where it's just a sore thumb. It's bad. And the law of averages tells you these things will even out a bit. The fluke to me is that it's so bad with runners in scoring position, whereas normally it's not. That just tells me there's going to be an adjustment here. You will see it adjust. Either the hitting will come crashing back down to earth and kind of react closer to it has with runners in scoring position, or some of what they've been doing when they're not in those high stress situations will start to bleed into the runners in scoring position. And no, I don't think that you can bake this problem away with changing the lineup. That's not it. They do have a couple guys who have been acting almost as full stops in the lineup, but I don't believe that you can pin most of this on that, because even the better Pirates hitters with runners in scoring position statistically have not been performing really as this season has taken off. That's the main area right there where I think the next step from this offense has come. You can talk about the individuals that are struggling, and we should. But in this episode, we're talking more from a 30,000-foot view of what's going on with this baseball team. And we're really trying to keep it out of the individuals. So you want the overall theme to just be much better performance with runners in scoring position. And to me, the number to focus on the most is the strikeouts with runners in scoring position. 43 and 139 opportunities. That OPS is dead last with the 567. You got to stop striking out in those opportunities. Put wood on ball. Do whatever you can to make some contact. They've got to find a way to shorten up. They've done a good job with this opposite field approach. They need to come up with a good runners in scoring position approach. Yeah, by all means, like before you have 2 strikes on you, go for what you're going for, but shorten up with 2 strikes and make sure you make some contact. Just cutting down on those strikeouts and sheer luck will make that OPS number go up with runners in scoring position and improve their entire position drastically, if you ask me. So if the offense feels solid but imperfect, the pitching is where things start to get interesting. It's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment that's not the most convenient, sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth, wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with real tax experts, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get your every dollar you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person, walking out knowing your taxes being handled right. Head to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Locked On Pirates. If you have not already done so, please scroll down to the show notes and check out the Supercast link for the Everydayer Club. It's a lot of fun. You get ad-free episodes. You get access to our private Discord where you can talk ball with me pretty much any game. I'm in there just the whole time. I've kind of migrated over there from X. It's a lot of fun. Good community growing over there, and we're having a lot of fun talking ball games. Right now, free code, finally, and you get a month of free access. Give it a shot. It helps directly support the show, and I think you'll enjoy it. All right, let's get into the pitching, and let's start broad, just like we did with the hitting. Let's start at a normal stat that everyone kind of knows and loves and understands. ERA. Team ERA is 3.23. That is second best in the National League. Now, if you watched every game like we have, does that feel like one of the best pitching staffs in baseball? I mean, I think we can say that about the starters, but not really, right? So let's peel back the layers a little bit. Let's do walks first. The Pirates have issued 73 walks. That's the second most in the National League. They're tied with the Nationals. Only the Reds are worse. That truly leads to ugly whips, which is walks and hits per innings pitched, just in case you don't know. And yes, Pirates are 10th in whip, 11th in hits allowed, which factors in the whip, but just so you know, it's not all the walks. So why hasn't this blown up in their faces? I got to tell you, here's why. I think this is probably the meat and potatoes of it. Because the Pirates have allowed the second fewest home runs in the National League, only 11. The Nationals, for perspective, 30, worst in baseball. You got to clean up the walks. And the profile looks very good if you do. Don't clean them up. Eventually, whip will punish you. It always does. Let's split this up a little differently. Let's split up the starters and relievers because there has been quite the dichotomy, I think, as you've watched the Pirates play this year. So starting rotation, the ERA is fabulous, 2.75. That's second best in the National League. And my assumption going in, really, and just from watching them this year and primarily watching them, it's not like I don't pay attention to other teams, but nobody watches other teams the way they watch their own, okay? And that's me included. So my assumption going in was they must have barely pitched. Well, not quite. 75.1 starter innings. It's 11th in the National League. Only the Cardinals, Brewers, Nationals, and Rockies have used their starters less. It's not ideal, but I wouldn't call it like outrageous either. You know what I mean? Bullpen usage, pretty middle of the pack. They're floating right around the middle. So where are they really surviving? I mean, what is going on that is making it okay that they're walking this many guys? Their whip is so bad. Like, how are they surviving it? 42 strikeouts with runners in scoring position. That's tied for second in the National League. Opponents with runners in scoring position again are only hitting 196 against Pirates pitching. It's the second best. Only 2 homers allowed all season with runners in scoring position. So what do? They tighten up. You want to know the biggest risk here is that they've had 29 walks with nobody out. It's the most in baseball. Opponents batting, lefties 217. It's the 5th best versus righties .226, it's the 8th best. 10 relievers have walked to the first batter they faced coming out of the bullpen. That's one of those things where, I think a lot of fans want to blame somebody for everything, when you get weird stats like that. And I normally don't camp onto them, but I will say, when you have that many relievers coming out of the bullpen and they're still a little bit erratic, or they're walking guys right away when they come out, there is something to be said for the preparation in the bullpen. Now, don't take this too far. I'm not calling for the head of the bullpen catcher or the bullpen coach per se, but there are some things you can do to mitigate this, at least to a degree, at home. You can make sure that your bullpen mound is as close to the in-game mound as it could possibly be. This is a problem some places like Cincinnati, where they kind of on purpose have their bullpen mound different than it is in-game, and I'm kind of not sure how that's fair, but teams do it, Pirates included. But that's one thing that you can kind of mess with. And another is just, hey, whatever your routine is for getting them heated up, just have a look at it. Just have a look at it and make sure that, getting the handle on your spin is one of the check marks to make sure you're heated up. Because I do think a lot of guys are coming in and the spin is like about as hot as it's ever going to come out, and the control does seem to be an issue on it. They've got a lot of really high RPM relievers that come in and they try to spin those sweepers. And man, if you don't have that kind of fine-tuned, or it's going to take you a batter or two to find it, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble by the time you get your pitches coming out the way you want them to. So I just think, like, with some of these relievers, Justin Lawrence comes to mind, even Ramirez to a degree. They've gotten very fortunate with Ramirez, and he has found the zone rather quickly when he comes into these outings. But I think those two are guys that you just really have to focus on making sure that they're controlling the spin. They've really got a handle on it before they walk onto that mound. Give yourself a shot at not doing so much damage to yourself before you've even gotten into the game. You haven't even gotten an out yet, and you're starting the trouble. This staff, to me, survives on limiting damage, missing bats when it matters, and keeping the ball in the yard. And they're doing really good at all three of those things. I still feel the walks are the one thing that they can cut down on drastically. Sometimes I think that's going to be deciding to come into the zone. But I also think there's another side to this. And I don't want to say that anybody is being coached to walk guys. That's not what's happening. So don't take this too far. But part of the coaching, I believe, is be careful with some of these hitters. Don't give in and give them something in the zone, like right in the meat for them to hit. Paint the edges, play the percentages. Hit the zones. Don't give them a meatball. And sometimes when you have a guy that is struggling with his control and you're asking them to be semi-fine, try to hit that outer third with that sweeper, as opposed to get something over the friggin' plate. And I got to say, if you work a count to like 3-1 against this team, the last thing that you want them to do is throw a meatball in there that the guy's looking for. And this team has shown they're not going to do it. They're still going to pitch to you. They're still going to throw you something that isn't 100% a strike. They want you to take it. They'd love to nick the zone. They'd more love it if you chased it. So the guys like that, who love to get in those 0-2 counts or whatever and then start fishing, you got to fish a little closer. Justin, that's been a big problem with Justin Lawrence. Too far out of the zone for the chase pitches. Ramirez has been great this year. Again, I don't want to nitpick him because his problems haven't emerged really this season. I think it's likely we'll see them again. It's just in his history that he kind of loses the handle a little bit on his pitches. It's sporadic when he does. He might very well be fine the next time you throw him out there. But somebody in that bullpen has got to start just consistently throwing strikes. Even their better relievers like Soto and Dennis Santana and Isaac Matson have not been efficient enough with not walking guys. That's just not been something that has been in Santana or Matson's graveyard. Soto, okay, yeah, he's done it. But he's effectively wild. That's a Soto pitcher, you know? But like, you just can't have that for your entire makeup of your back end, or you're gonna flirt with trouble all the time. It's kind of what we watched. So let's see. We got an immediate shakeup of Evan Sisk coming up for Hunter Barco. Called that on yesterday's show. And no, I don't want any back pats for it, because I was literally just throwing something against the wall and it happened. No inside knowledge whatsoever. Evan Sisk has been good. He has walked too many people in AAA. A very similar project to what's been going on up here. So hopefully that doesn't continue with him. The ERA is great. He's done well to get out of the damage and the issues that he's created for himself in the minors. But if he comes up here and starts walking people, it's not going to be any better than, Hunter Barco. And just to finish that up, Hunter Barco apparently is going to be going back into the rotation in AAA. They're going to try to stretch him out. He's going to come back up either as a starter or a long man. So kind of dual action for moving Barco down. Also kind of what I suggested for why. So makes a lot of sense. Glad they did it. All right, let's zoom out again, because the Pirates, and where they stand right now matters. Even more when you look at the rest of the league. That's what I want to do next. Look at the rest of the league. If you've ever opened your bank account and thought, wait, where did all my money go? Yeah, you're definitely not alone, especially if you're the kind of person who's trying to watch your team every single night. Because let's be honest, between cable, streaming apps, league packages, and random free trials you forget to cancel, those subscriptions add up fast. That's where Rocket Money comes in. Rocket Money helps you track all your subscriptions in one place so you can actually see what you're paying for and cancel the ones that don't need anymore. Just a few taps. Just makes everything feel more organized, and once you've seen it laid out, it's way easier to take control. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and even lower your bills so you can grow your savings over time. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/lockedon. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Hey, welcome back to Locked On Pirates. We're going to finish up by talking about how the league at large is doing. I'm going to focus on the National League because really, you got to win the National League. The American League's down to start here, but they got some good teams over there that are going to figure things out. And it's early. Let's start in the AL and the NL East with the Braves. Braves, to me, man, they look real. I wonder if they've got the pitching depth to get all the way through this season, but offensively, man, they look like a wagon. They really do. They're elite. They have elite speed. They got power. The Braves look complete and really probably one of the easiest bets in baseball about which team you thought was going to make the playoffs this year that didn't last year would be the Braves. They really should be poised to do damage in that division, and boy, they're off to a hot start. Miami's right behind them, and they look good, but they also look like a lot of smoke and mirrors to me. First, the next season that the Marlins go through where all their pitchers stay healthy will be the first that I can think of on recorded history, maybe all the way back to their World Series year. Offensively, they've got some really nice pieces. They've done some good work here identifying talent and developing it. And, a lot of small market teams should be jealous of it. It's very nice what I think they've put together offensively. And I think in a couple years, with a few additions to it, they really could offensively be a pretty scary team. This year, though, it feels to me like the cream is going to rise to the top and the Marlins aren't going to be there. Phillies and the Mets stumbling early. Phillies, I think maybe a lot of people discounted the fact that, they managed to keep Schwarber. They lost a pretty important pitcher that made their staff extra special. They still have a great staff. Their bullpen, I don't know if it really got much better. Offensively, man, I think they still have some holes. I'm not sure what I think of the Phillies this year. I think they could miss the playoffs. I think they could make it. The Mets are stumbling early. That certainly not the team we saw in the opening series. They just look a hot mess right now. I mean, they've got some of the best talent in the league. I think McClain's right there as far as one of the better pitchers in the league right now. I mean, the Mets should be better than they are. And man, it's so early to pronounce anybody dead. There's no reason to even pretend. And obviously, Washington Nationals, they're on a hot one right now. They're hitting the hell out of the ball. They're not pitching, but they're winning lately. And if they can out-hit you, they're going to beat you. So the Pirates should set up as a favorable matchup. Their pitching is superior. They should be able to hold the Nationals down, and the Pirates can hit well enough to out-hit whatever they manage to squeak through. That's the hope. Now you got to go out on the field and do it. How many times have we talked about matchups on paper before the Pirates play somebody? The NL West, Dodgers are a wagon. I think there's just no denying it. They're great. They're stacked at just about every position. Their pitching staff is filled. As of right now, they're healthy enough. I mean, what do you say about the Dodgers? They're winning and they should be. The Braves, to me, actually look a little better right now. I know their record doesn't reflect that, but I personally think the Braves are a more complete team right this second. Padres are right there. They're hanging in there. We saw them. They took it to the Pirates, took 2 or 3 from the Bucks, and you know what? The Padres have 10 wins, man. They're right there. Now, I really have questions about the Padres. Their bullpen might be the best in the league, either league. Their starting pitching, they've got some highlights. They've got some lowlights. I'm not 100% sure about that. And a lot of their core is aging. And I mean, they're doing a lot of this without Tatis even being super in yet. I mean, the Padres are still a scary team, but I'm not 100% sure what they are. The D-backs were supposed to stink. They're exceeding expectations. They've got 9 wins. The Giants might actually stink. And the Rockies, hey, they've got 6 wins already. And for them, after what they went through last year, they're in good shape. Now let's do the Central, because this is where it gets fun, right? Pirates lead by percentage points. Again, as I'm recording. The Reds are right there. But, man, when we played the Reds, they didn't scare me. Did they scare you? Offensively, they just don't frighten me. I feel like you get Ellie De La Cruz under control. I feel like you have the Reds under control. I'm not saying there's nobody else that can hurt you. Sal Stewart has been excellent early on. But I feel like if you can control Ellie, and I guess Sal Stewart, you're okay. And how many years have we watched offenses with like 2 or 3 guys that could do anything? Right. How many opportunities do they get? Because every time there's leverage, you take it away from them. It's like your first thing you do. Cardinals, I think they're lifted by young talent, probably more than a lot of people thought they were going to be. Weatherholt's for real. I really like their lineup, actually. I think they can hit. I don't think that they have the pitching to sustain all season, but they do got some youngsters coming along by the end of this season. I think some of the Cardinals' vision is going to start coming through. The other big thing is I think everybody wrote off Jordan Walker, and he really started the season great. So that gives the Cardinals another piece that I think a lot of people kind of didn't expect to be a piece. So that's good for them as well. Same thing happened to the Pirates with O'Neal Cruz, right? So the Brewers are banged up. I think Yelich broke his big toe or something. So who knows how long he's out. And they've kind of come back to earth too. They started out hot. They're banged up. They're cooling off now. Boy, make hay on these guys while you can. While they've decided to slum it in the bottom of the division, let them. Get as much separation as you possibly can now before they get healthy and get right. The Cubs, preseason darlings, they're in the basement. We just saw them, this weekend. The margin was not very big between these two teams, was it? In fact, I think right now 2 games separate the entire division. But if you remember me saying in the division preview show, I think 1 through 4 could be separated by no more than 5 games. And I really feel this division could still be that tight. Being 4-2 in the division right now, just looking at where everything lies, you got to feel pretty good about it. That's a pretty solid early measuring stick for this team. This Pirates team doesn't feel lucky to me. Doesn't feel fluky. They feel narrow. They feel like they're threading needles. But the numbers mostly back up what we're seeing. No massive red flags, no shooting the lights out smoke screens. Just a team learning how to win tight games. And I think that's important. A couple weeks in, pretty positive marks for this Pirates team and how they're built. Few very clear areas where they need to focus too. Hey, we're serious about Pirates baseball because somebody has to be. Let's go Bucks.